Brett Crowder with Charles Schwab. And do you understand the illuminating factor of price patterns? Meaning, if you understand price patterns, it can actually bring up potential plays where otherwise maybe nothing is happening. For instance, the stock here, by the way, any stock I bring up is for educational purposes only. But it looks like it's just going sideways, not much happening, when in reality, if you understand price patterns, then you can see the lows are getting a little higher, the highs are getting a little bit lower. In fact, what it's doing is creating a symmetrical triangle where this could potentially break out. And these price patterns tend to have patterns where they'll break out, like in this case, a symmetrical triangle, the direction of the prior trend. So there's a possibility it could break the downside, run the distance of the widest part of the triangle. Now, nothing is certain, so keep that in mind. These are just potential setups based upon technical analysis. Like here's one on Tesla. Before it even got into that, in fact, it had a double bottom back here, which had a range of about 210 to 290, about 80 bucks in there. And then after the breakout, it ran, essentially that distance. Whoops, a little bit high there, but you can see what I mean. Then it entered into a symmetrical triangle, broke out right here, looking for a potential retest. And if it runs the distance, it could, have a target up in here somewhere. But again, it could also come back down if that support fails to hold. But I'm just saying, there are these price patterns that give opportunity that may not be there otherwise, and then there's like a flag pattern. So for instance here, we see where the stock has been moving up pretty good, and it's actually doing a little bit of a retracement, possibly pulling back down to about the 38% fib level, which can often act as a support level, which kind of coincides with support back in here. And if it were to bounce, let's just say it bounces off this and runs higher, then it could run the distance of that pole, which in this case would give it a target of up in here somewhere, up around the 142 area. Again, giving potential opportunities out there that may not be there otherwise, or to the naked eye without understanding price patterns. And then like here's one on the bearish side, it works bullish and bearish, where you can see this stock has been dropping down, running back, creating a series of bear flags. This one though, actually, if we look at the Fibonacci, it's pulled back to a 62%, and if it goes any further than that, then the price pattern from a technical standpoint might be considered a failure. But there's just different ways of looking at this, depending if it bounces here, which coincides with an old support, will that go down the distance down to the, this area down here in 318, or will it continue higher? Well, again, those are opportunities that understanding price patterns help out with. And I'm going to put in a link to a class that talks about more price patterns. So take a look at the one that Brent does and familiarize yourself with price patterns. See you next time.